Good afternoon and welcome to David T. Howard's Go Team meeting, where we will follow the agenda that has been emailed to you and publicly noted. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in the discussion. Any members here are present are here to quietly observe. Go Team members, as you speak, please identify yourself. First order, let's call the roll.
All right. Ms. Antone,
I am here.
I'm sorry, Mr. Abernathy, I'm going to put that you're present.
Present.
Okay. All right. Wendy Baker, myself, I am here. I am present. Tanisha Poe.
Present.
Thank you. Jesse Webb.
Present.
Audrea Reese.
Present.
Thank you. Jennifer Keenan.
Present.
Janine Walker.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, Vincent Jones, you guys said he's not here.
He is not here yet.
Okay. I shall mark him absent. And we have an open community member seat, which is, I believe, vacant as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Ms. Baker, do we have a quorum today?
Indeed, we do, sir.
All right. First action item that we have for today is the approval of the agenda. Ms. Poe, are you able to share that for us, please?
I'm so sorry, I didn't have it pulled up.
Oh, sorry about that. I know we had a few adjustments and we want to make sure that everybody is aware of what's going on the agenda today.
Okay.
So today in our minutes, we did add the action item of adding our community member seat. We added a few things. I want to say it was information items that we added in. And let's see. I think that was about it. Are there any changes to the agenda that you may see?
I believe we had spoken about another position we might need to fill.
Yeah, that's in the action items, the community member seat. Oh, yeah, I gotcha. I think as today, I believe that's an information thing today. So I don't want to overstep and go too early on that one. So it might be an information item. If there are no additional amendments to the agenda, can I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve. This is Wendy Baker.
All right, Ms. Baker, that made a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Yes, Audrey Reese, I second.
Ms. Reese has second. It's been properly motion to approve and second. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Are there any abstentions? All right. So before we go into the community member seat, I know that was next on the agenda. We're going to approve the previous minutes first. So let's see. Those were also sent to you in the email. If we do have them, if you can pull those up really quick for us, and we can kind of scroll through, let us know if there are any corrections to the minutes.
They're on the screen, but I also put the link in the chat.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Bo. Are there any corrections needed to the previous minutes?
Aaron Battle, please report to the car rider lane at this time. Aaron Battle, please report to the car rider lane.
This is Jennifer Keenan. I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Keenan. Do I have a second?
This is Tanisha Poe. I motion to second.
All right, moved by Keenan, second by Ms. Poe. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? All right, next action item, we have reached to our community member seat. So I believe Ms. Poe has that information.
So for the community member seat,
Mhm.
I did have someone I was going to nominate, but it fell through. And so I would have to bring that candidate to the next meeting.
So Coach Abernathy, I don't know if for the agenda or for the minutes, we need a motion to postpone or something, but if we do, I make a motion to postpone the nomination of the community member to the October meeting.
Well, so I want to nominate someone. Do I need to wait until next time as well?
So, hi all, this is Diane Jacoby. The nomination of a community member comes from the principal.
Oh, okay.
It was
My
only the swing
apologies.
seat that comes from anybody else. However,
My apologies.
if you think you have a really good candidate, please be
Okay.
sure to forward that name and contact information to the principal
Okay.
so that she can bring
Okay.
it forward.
Okay, I thought I had sent it to you, Ms. Anton, so I apologize for that. And apologize to you, Sanchel, but I'm going to send it on to Ms. Anton.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
All right, so we will move that into the next Go Team meeting.
Ms. Poe, can you put the agenda back up? Thank you.
All right, so next order of business, we go to our discussion items. Discussion item number 1 is map growth and regrouping of students in intervention and enrichment.
Yes, so just a quick update. We have completed our math growth testing. Parents should have received their students' family reports of their math growth scores as of September 24th. So if you have not received those, you can definitely reach out to us, your counselor, the student's intervention or enrichment teacher, and we can make sure that you receive that report. But they should have gone out on Friday, this last Friday. Also, what we're doing right now is our teachers have been looking at that data, and we're making placement decisions. And so as of Monday, upcoming, we should have all of our students in place with any changes that would have been made. You know, we looked at the APS intervention cut scores. We also looked at the Georgia milestone proficiency cut scores and percentile information, and also teacher observations. And so we are looking at those things to make sure we have our students in the right place as we roll out our interventions next week. And some kids will be moving out of interventions, going into the extension groups or enrichment groups. And so just look for that. As it relates to our school and what we look like right now, the way the categories are broken down with map growth, you have a low category in reading and math, which is that would categorize students who are below the 21st percentile. And then you have the low average with students who are between the 21st and the 40th percentile. And so right now in the area of math school-wide, we had 12% of our students were in the low category and 12% of our students were in the low average category percentile. In terms of the high average, that is categorized as students who fell between the 61st and the 80th percentile when you look at MAP growth. And in the area of math, we had 20% of our students that fell in that range. And with the high category in math, which is the 80th percentile and above, we had 34% of our students fall in that category for math. In the area of reading, the low category, we had 10% of our students in the area of reading, and low average 10%. And when you look at the high average, we had 26%, and the high category in reading 36%. When we look at our subgroup data, and this is one of the things that we're focusing on this year, as well as, it is a APS equity commitment in making sure that we look at our subgroups and we try to close the gap between our subgroup performance. But regardless of the grade level school-wide, you see a trend, and we do have that gap between our subgroups when you look at our white subgroups and our Black and Hispanic subgroups. And so that is information that our teachers will be looking at. Our next steps, once we've looked at our placements, we have looked at interpreting various reports. And so our next step is to have our teachers look at that subgroup data, analyze it, and make sure that we come up with strategies as to how we can help close those achievement gaps and, work on those areas of weakness. We also have domain data that we'll be taking a look at as well. And so that's with MAP growth and our regrouping of students for intervention and enrichment.
Ms. Antone, can you tell us if there is a chart that parents can reference for this information and where it is?
Yeah, so when you say chart, are you referring to, for example, the Georgia Milestone Proficiency Cut Scores, or like percentiles, or just the overall information that I'm sharing?
Right, that overall information as far as the MAP, if I'm understanding this correctly, school-wide. Is that school-wide, or that's school-wide, correct?
Yeah, the reports will provide grade level information, and we put together our school level data, but I can provide the Go team with that information, a chart with that information in there.
Okay, thanks.
I'll do that.
Ms. Antone, were you surprised by any of that information?
So just looking at, well, we know that we had, we couldn't really depend on the Georgia Milestones data because we didn't have the number of students that took the test that would give us a good sample of students for the information that we would like to look at. But in terms of the subgroup data, we know that it has been a trend, and which is why our district is focusing in on that as a part of the equity commitments. And so, and historically, as we looked at our data in the past at Howard, we have noticed that we have to work to close those achievement gaps, and have started looking at that subgroup data the last couple of years as well. And so as we move forward and really have some good data where we have all of our students here now, and we're able to really hone in and look at the next administration in January, we're really anticipating, that we see growth as we look at that data, and hope that we can see some closing of those gaps. And so, just with our students coming in and a lot of them not being here last year in the building, face to face, and just operating online solely, we knew we were going to have some deficits and some things that we're going to have to catch up on, which is, while we had the summer school, while we're doing the intervention block. And so we're looking forward to trying to close those gaps.
I have just a quick question for Ms. Jacoby, and to follow up on Janine's comment. When we get the chart from Ms. Antone with the numbers that she just discussed, can we add that to the minutes? Does it need to go as an exhibit to the end? Should it just go where it falls in the discussion item? What do you recommend for that, Ms. Jacoby?
I recommend saying C report at end.
Okay.
Like, it's just easiest to just attach it at the end of the.
Okay, thank you.
That was a great point, Jennifer. I'm wondering if we can also post that online with the attachment for this meeting minutes.
Yeah, as long as that stuff gets shared with me, I can put a link in the minutes.
We will get it to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because I missed a lot of those numbers myself, so I'm going to need a refresher for sure on that.
Aaron Battle, if you're on the
All right, are there any additions to the map growth discussion? All right, discussion item number 2 is dress code, messaging, and enforcement.
All right, so for the dress code messaging and enforcement, recently that has been a topic that we have had to address. I know about a couple of years ago, our Go team adopted a dress code. And, at the beginning of the year, I reached out to several members, Coach Abernathy, Ms. Keenan, to make sure that we had that same dress code in place. And so here just recently, there was a question about something in the dress code, particularly, with our girls, for example, being able to show midriff or, stomachs and backs and things of that nature. There was question there. And we did, do some research, went back, even look at the APS handbook in terms of what the dress code was, and, wasn't in alignment. And, in talking with Ms. Keenan as well, we had to go back and make sure that everyone was clear on the dress code. But I know there was concern about the messaging in terms of how the dress code is enforced. And so I know Ms. Keenan was trying to reach out to district level to get some training materials because Ms. Keenan, and you can share, from my understanding, there were some sessions this summer about dress code, and what that should look like as we move forward. And also just talking with the staff and making sure that they understand that, what the dress code is and what that messaging should look like, so that we're not singling out young ladies or young men for certain things. And, we're not body shaming or making sure we're not, sending the wrong message in terms of students thinking they're a distraction because of being a female or being a male. And so we did discuss that, with this messaging, it does require a paradigm shift. And, we talked to some district personnel about getting some messaging out there to us, and maybe even some training materials. But with the dress code, we talked to our expanded leadership team, made sure we've sent the dress code out to the staff and tried to clarify things within that dress code to make sure that everyone is in alignment and understand what's there and what we're supposed to enforce.
So yeah, thank you, Ms. Antone. I'll just add on to that a bit. As Ms. Antone mentioned, there were some focus groups this summer that APS conducted, in particular, Dr. Granger conducted focus groups related to the dress code, and there were student focus groups, parent focus groups, and maybe others. I participated in one of the parent focus groups, and the session was excellent. Dr. Granger had a lot of really good, helpful materials, just describing the history of dress codes and how they historically discriminate against girls and people of color, and how we need to change the messaging around dress codes to avoid those historical pitfalls. So the sessions over the summer were excellent. So we actually had a meeting, a Zoom meeting yesterday with several members of the APS administration, including Dr. Granger, including Mr. Brown, who's on this meeting, on our Go Team meeting today. And it was just a very good, productive meeting. And Dr. Granger is going to work on materials to be disseminated district-wide on how to better, how APS administration and staff and teachers can better deliver messaging related to the dress code. So this has been a very, long ongoing process. But I was very much encouraged by the meeting that we had yesterday and the commitment from APS administration to continue to work on this issue, and in particular focus on dress code messaging. So I think we're definitely heading in the right direction on that.
Ms. Keenan, can you talk a little bit about how the focus group came about, or give some context on that? Because I don't think I heard about it.
I just got an email. Honestly, Janine, I don't remember if I signed up for it.
Okay.
It's in the COVID cloud.
Yeah.
I actually do think I signed up for it. I think, maybe an email went out and it said, if you want to participate in a focus group. I think that's how it was. So, it was quite a while ago.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't remember more details.
It's
But
okay.
I believe they had more than one, but
Okay.
it was a great session.
I'm just thinking about a way that we can get this information disseminated more amongst our parent group. So if they have those same concerns, then they can become part of that conversation. So I know I try to stay pretty plugged in, even though it's a lot of things going on and coming your way. But I was just wondering how we could help there.
Well, we might be able to add that to a parent university, or, one of the different felt activities. Because I agree with you, Janine. It was really eye-opening. I just thought it was, I had been studying this issue for a while.
Yeah.
And I just, the materials he had were just very easy to digest, very clear. So I think that's an excellent idea. And I'd be happy to follow up with Dr. Granger to talk to him about, what we can put together where we could maybe do a parent university that touches on it.
Perfect, thanks.
All right, we will take note of that idea, Ms. Keenan. And like I said, I think it would be very helpful to have those types of sessions, as it is a paradigm shift for a lot of staff, teachers, administrators, in terms of just the way we look at dress code as we move forward in the future. So okay.
All right, Ms. Antone, the next item is the backpack policy.
Yes, sir. So our current practice at Howard in terms of the backpack policy is that our students, they do not travel with the backpacks. They have about 3 locker breaks each day where they're able to store their book bags, retrieve materials, store things, and just being able to get the things that they need for the upcoming classes. And right now our kids don't move along with a lot of books because most of the books are online, and mostly, we have our student devices for the most part, and maybe, a couple of books. And so I know this came up very recently in terms of why we carry our book, why we do not allow students to travel with their book bags. And it was, a few things. We've always looked at it, as safety and security, just making sure that kids aren't traveling with anything that could be a weapon or, drugs or alcohol or anything like that, just for student safety. Also, some of the classrooms are not as large as others, in terms of storing the book bags, and making sure there's plenty of space for traveling throughout the aisles and things of that nature. And the fact that they really don't have a lot of books at this time. I probably received two parents who have reached out about book bags and students needing to carry certain things and needing a bag. And we pretty much just, told them that, if they had a clear bag, just continue with the clear bag, and it was fine. Our students who have purses and small bags and things of that nature, they are still allowed to carry those. And so if kids needed to carry particular items and that they did not want, anyone to see, they still are able to carry those purses and those small bags as well. And so that has been our backpack policy or practice at Howard.
Well, and I requested that this item be added to the agenda. When I was looking through the dress code issues, I stumbled upon the book bag policy in the student handbook, the APS student handbook. And I think that the Howard book bag policy violates the language of the student handbook. The student handbook says on page, let me see here, sorry, page 27, it says book bags, sports bags, and other bags. And Ms. Baker, I will email this to you. You do not need to transcribe it. Book bags, sports bags, and other bags. Students are allowed but not required to use a book bag to carry their textbooks and school supplies. However, students are discouraged from using a rolling book bag because such book bags often create tripping hazards. So I wanted to explore a process for re-examining the Howard book bag policy. When I inquired about it, I was told, well, that's the way it always is, or that's the way it's always been. I know that, of course, students at Midtown High can bring their backpacks into the classrooms. And, I've personally seen children trying to carry their charger and their computer and their musical instrument and many other items. So I want to make sure that there's a need to prohibit children from bringing their book bags into the classrooms rather than just saying that's the way it always was. So I don't know if we need to do a survey, or if you want to survey the kids and see if they would like to bring their backpacks into the classroom, but I have a feeling the overwhelming response would be yes. So I bring this up to you. What is the procedure for re-examining this policy?
And I can see, sending a poll out to parents, to see if, they want their kids to carry around backpacks, and, the possibility of even a clear backpack. That's something that we could definitely do, send a poll out to parents and related to that.
Well, and from what I understand, Sutton is not using lockers at all this year because they just don't want kids to be crowding around and clustered around in the hallways at lockers. So they've been letting kids use backpacks this whole year. I could be wrong, but that's word on the street that I've heard.
Well, and there's also been kind of a shifting messaging, is the safety issue that there could be contraband in the backpacks? Is the safety issue that the backpacks pose a tripping hazard? But regardless of what the perceived safety issues are, other schools allow it, and Midtown allows it. And the exact same student population that's at Howard goes to Midtown High School. So I think if the high school, in balancing the costs and benefits of allowing backpacks, has weighed in on the side of allowing children to use their backpacks and bring them into class, I think Howard should be able to make that same determination as well. Honestly, this doesn't seem like rocket science. It just seems like it just needs to be changed. I mean, I hate to see, precious resources and time expended on something that honestly seems like a no-brainer. They can use backpacks at Spark. They can use backpacks at the high school. Let's use backpacks at the middle school as well. But again, that's not my decision to make. But I hope that I hope this can just be a decision that's made quickly, without needing a lot of exploration.
Yep, so we can definitely look at that pretty quickly as we get with our staff and send something out. And so we'll be revisiting that area and provide an update.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else with input or discussion on the backpack policy? All right, Ms. Antone, the floor is yours for the principal's report.
All right, thank you, Coach Abernathy. All right, in terms of leveling, we were projected to have like 1,189 students. We did have around 1,161. And so we have received our leveling information. And the good news is that we did not lose any teachers, nor did we gain any. And so we are in a good place. We are actually receiving approximately $45,000, which is good. And, right now we've been told to hold off until after our October principals meeting in terms of spending. But we are currently assessing our needs based on the data and trying to look at how we will use those funds. And so I think we are definitely in a good place right now. In terms of update on staff COVID-19 testing and sharing results, we are currently now testing on Tuesdays and Fridays in terms of our staff for mandatory testing, and everyone's been pretty compliant with that. The numbers have been low, and tested today, we didn't have any positive cases. We've been sending those messages out. On Fridays, we do get our results pretty late, like 7 p.m. And so what we started doing is just letting everybody know if we had any positives and then send a more detailed report out on Sundays. In terms of the one-way hallways update, I have included Dr. Harper, our 8th grade assistant principal here, to just share about that and just provide some context and just let us know how those one-way hallways are going in 8th grade.
Thank you, Ms. Antone. So we started one-way hallways a couple of weeks ago. It was birthed out of some congestion issues that we had on 8th grade. I'm sure most of you all are aware that on 8th grade, we don't have teams. And so when our kids transition from class to class, they're not simply going to the next class over, they are actually going to a hallway based on the subject content. So we noticed a lot of congestion and bottlenecks in certain areas of the hallway. And it was at the request of our 8th grade teachers that we adopted a one-way transition. The one-way transition is not every period of the day. It's not every transition. So when there are locker transitions, we need the students to quickly get to their locker so that they can get to class. So it was not prudent to do a one-way hallway at that time. At that time, students take the most direct route to their locker, and then they would transition to their classroom. So far, we have completely alleviated the congestion as long as our students are quickly moving where they should be. It has worked to relieve the congestion, which was why it was birthed.
So I have a little feedback I would like to share about that, because I did hear from some kids about the one-way hallway situation. And even though it seems like it did alleviate some things, students have been complaining about if they have to go down that one-way hallway, but their class is right behind them, then that causes them to lose precious time in getting to the class, and then causes conflicts with the teacher about possibly being late and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out, is it any way we can work on a solution for that? If your class, the classroom you just left out of is right next to the other one, but you have to go around in an entire circle, then that causes a little issue there.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Walker. So the exception to the one-way rule is that if your class was the next class over, you did not have to circle the entire hallway. That was one exception. And then, of course, you know about the locker breaks. However, I will say the students have voiced a number of concerns about the one-way hallway, and what they have expressed mostly is that they are concerned about being late to their next class. And so our ambassadors, we got about 21 eighth grade ambassadors that we are currently working with on another proposal for hallway transition. So we started last Wednesday. So they actually have brought up some really good points, some great ideas, and we are working through that right now.
So is it possible that we can get a feedback session from that on our next meeting?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I will tell you, because I am on a hallway where it is only language arts teachers, and there is not a class that anyone would be going to next door. So I think that does happen more on the hallway that's across from me on the other side, where you've got some math teachers and some social studies teachers, so they might do it that. But honestly, the only place you're going if you leave the language arts hallway is either the Skywalk hallway, which there are no classrooms there, or the other hallway, which would be going the correct direction, which is also there's no classrooms. So you've got to get over to the other wing to get to the other 3 content areas, if that makes any sense.
I just want to echo what Janine said. I've heard concerns as well. And you know, honestly, to me, it's almost a pattern. So we have the kids can't use backpacks. They have to go one way. There's confusion if they can go the opposite way to get to their locker. And then they have 3 minutes to go to the bathroom during a transition where they have to now go farther around the building and go to their locker to get their stuff. It just, these are all minor things, but you've just added inconvenience upon inconvenience upon inconvenience. And to us, it's an inconvenience. And I think to the children, it's a stressor.
Yeah, and we
go all the way around. Like I said, if you have to go all the way around the hall, but then your locker's in one spot and you're trying to go to the bathroom, but of course the bathrooms were locked, but thankfully they're unlocked now. There's just a lot of pressure and stress on these kids. And all of these rules are just adding, I feel, unnecessarily to make their time at school harder.
Yes, and we hear you. So thank you for you all's feedback. And
I will say that the ambassadors have done, I'm sorry, Ms. Anton.
Yeah.
I will say that the ambassadors, the leaders that we have selected for this class, they have done an excellent job articulating the concerns from the student perspective. And so you will probably be pleased at the outcome of the work that they're doing. So if you all just give us just a little bit of time, not a lot, just a little bit, I'm sure you will see some changes because they had some wonderful ideas.
Well, thank you. And I want to just express my appreciation for, you starting that program. It's excellent. It's a great way to get students to be part of the solution. So thank you so much for doing that program.
All righty. And so the next item for update is we will have a ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Please be sure to watch via our Howard YouTube station channel. It is about 45 minutes and the theme will be the past, the present, and the future. Also, just wanted to remind everyone, we do have posted on our website about the Division of Academics Cluster Family Community Trainings. And these trainings were shared with families all about the academic programs and all of the programs that APS are implementing this year. And so be sure to look at that flyer on our website. And the sessions are between September 16th and October 26th from 5:15 to 6:45. Also, as we look at the restroom policy, as you know, we did have our doors to the restrooms locked for about 4 days when we were making some repairs to our restrooms. And it was a result of the TikTok challenges that we had. Where we experienced that vandalism in several of our restrooms. Just know that, you know, our teachers took their classes to the restrooms. Students were able to use the restrooms between restroom breaks. And when they were in class, if a teacher couldn't go unlock the door, we did ask them to reach out to a member of the leadership team. But do know that we are, in lieu of doing that, we are not locking any restrooms, but we are using the My Homework app that tracks student activity to the restrooms. And teachers do have to make sure that they end those passes when they return from the restrooms in the My Homework app. And so in the My Homework app, we are able to see activities. Even the administrators are able to see the activity and who's in and out of the classroom to the restroom. And like I said, instead of locking those. And so just know that we are, you know, trying to make sure that we have good monitoring going on there. And we have the monitoring system in terms of videos as well, our cameras. Update on restroom video and other incidents.
Ms. Antone, I was just going to note that I apologize, on the call that we had yesterday with APS administration, we talked about the locking of the restrooms as well. APS is committed to not having restrooms locked. So that is a district-wide commitment that they made clear on that phone call. You know, I think there are several different options that are being explored. You know, Mr. Brown, who is on our Go Team call today, he noted that some schools don't have exterior doors on the bathrooms, you know, kind of like what you see at the airport. So I think that there are, you know, a number of suggestions and ideas and ways that we can make the restrooms safer without limiting access. So I was just so pleased to hear that, you know, APS does not, on a district-wide level, does not want restrooms locked. So we should be in a good position on that moving forward.
Thank you, Ms. Keenan. I will say, if there is a locked restroom, we will have a sign on the door if there's something wrong or needs to be repaired, but there should be access to a restroom on that floor.
I want to also add and plug in here about the leveling. I know you mentioned that you guys have some funds that, you know, you'll have the opportunity to use. And I think this kind of bars a conversation, because I don't think teachers are already stressed and overworked and things like that. So the nominal things like tracking the restroom breaks and this, and also the deans, like they have so much on their plates to deal with. So maybe getting some monitors in there are people who can handle those light load of things so that teachers and deans and things like that, they can focus back on their main duties, because it's a lot for them.
Thank you, Ms. Walker.
Sure.
All right. In terms of the restroom policy, next, update on restroom video and other incidents. And so I just want to say about that, I know everyone is aware of the incident where we had a couple of kids go into the restroom. We know that incidents will occur, you know, in schools, but do know that we do follow the APS code of conduct as it relates to incidents when they occur. Unfortunately, we are not able to share specifics about situations in terms of outcomes or how we handled it. We can't share consequences. And I'm sure you understand because you wouldn't want us to share anything about your child or anything of that nature. And so just know that as we're looking at these incidents that are occurring, we do look at our discipline data on a monthly basis to make sure that we are looking at how to tighten up in certain areas. And do know that our administrative team have been working this week in outlining some things to share with our staff upcoming as it relates to all of our adult expectations for monitoring and making sure that they are outlined, that they're shared, they're clear and monitored so that all bases are covered in terms of safety for our students. We're looking at our school routines and cell phone use when it comes to students and staff as well, to make sure we can hone in on the problems that we're having in terms of students sharing videos. We are revisiting our duty rosters, expectations, and even locations for where staff are positioned to make sure all bases are covered. We're even evaluating our routines for restrooms and lockers and transitions. We're just looking at everything to make sure that that it's safe and that we maintain a positive climate. We know that things will still happen, but we are tightening up on those protocols, and we'll be sharing out with our staff this week. We're also establishing an instructional framework to make sure that there's same expectations or in each class, and to actually cut down on behaviors that we see. We are also, when we're looking at those things that are happening, we're incorporating those things into our SEL lessons, those things such as how to be a good digital citizen, conflict resolutions, what are other options. So we are incorporating those conversations into the SEL classrooms or blocks when we have those, just to make sure we're covering all grounds. And looking at that discipline data to see who are those students who have more than one discipline referral, and what are we doing about those students? Are we providing interventions to make sure that we can help those students to make more or better decisions, or to be more successful? So what we need from our parents is just to continue to assist us with monitoring student cell phones and just having those conversations about appropriate behavior. I know these TikTok challenges are, they're still coming. And, even in October, it's supposed to be Slap a Staff Member Month, but there are a lot of challenges. And, unfortunately, social media is big, among our kids. And so just continue to have those conversations, and do know that we do follow the APS Code of Conduct. And we will continue to do so. And so we are working on all of those areas as it relates to incidents that occur. The next item is process for principal search, and I will pivot and allow Mr. Brown to share in that area.
So let me say, first of all, good afternoon to our parents, to our staff that's here, to community members. I just want to say thank you for all your support this school year. I know that it has been a rough year. And before I go into the principal process search for Howard, I do want to just say thank you all for all your hard work and working together. Thank you for to the parents who have been very vocal, because we need you to be the advocate for all children. So we appreciate you. Thank you to the teachers who go in each and every day, and all staff members who go in each and every day to work with our students. We are, Howard, and I will say, Ms. Anton, thank you for your leadership, because I do know what it's like to open a building after kids, coming into a new building. They're all nooks and crannies that you got to find out, especially opening a building after most kids have not been in that building, never been in that building, but then they've been out of school for 14 months. So Ms. Anton, and to your team, thank you. I've had a chance to visit Howard Middle School about 6 or 7 times. I actually spent Friday afternoon there. What I saw were kids very compliant. I saw teachers in their areas. And so we're going, as Ms. Anton said, we're going to continue to focus on, I gave her a charge of 3 things. Let's focus on increasing instruction, focus on how do we make sure students and staff are safe with adult expectations and student expectations. And then the last one, and Ms. Anton, is just, the last one was really around safety in general. And so her administrative team, they have taken the challenge, they're revamping. I'm glad to hear that students are involved in the process of improving. I will have to say to parents and to students, give the administrative team grace. This is a whole new building, not just a new building for you all, it's a new building for the adults. So there are going to be some things they're going to try that's not going to work out great. I think the biggest thing is if they're open to changing. And so what I hear from the administrative team is that, hey, we tried this, we may need to go back and rethink this. And that's what they're doing right now. I also want to remind, we've only been in school for 9 weeks now. We're coming up to our 9th week. And so we're in a new building. Kids haven't been in school for 14 months. Staff is in a new building. And so we're trying to work out the kinks. And so Ms. Anton, thank you for your leadership in this. As far as the principal process, selection process, parents and staff will get a link. We're actually in the process of selecting the principal for the Bunch community. The next step will move to the Howard community, which will be sometime in October. So in the next couple of weeks, parents, you will see a link, a survey link, asking parents, students, and staff to give input on that principal profile. What we really want to do is get information about what does the principal look like for Howard Middle School. We want that perspective from the parent, we want it from the community, we want it from students. While you are sending that information in, we are actually getting applicants in right now. So APS is in the process of revising the pool. We want to make sure that we have a good selection of people to interview based off of the information our parents, students, and staff give us. And so the first step will be we're collecting applications. That's going on now. The next step is there will be a survey link posted on the school website getting input. We will also conduct 2 meetings. One meeting with the staff to get their input, further input, and then a second meeting with community members. So all those things will take place in the month of October. And so that's where we are with the first phase of selecting a principal for Howard. Our goal is to have someone that's the right fit for our students, the right fit for our community, the right fit for Howard Middle School, at least by the beginning of second semester, because we want them to be a part of the budgeting process as we plan for next school year. It's kind of like a big picture, but just know it's on our radar. We don't want to rush it. Our goal is to get the right person. The right person may already be there. It could be someone in the Atlanta Public School. It could be someone from somewhere else. We have not limited the pool for those applicants who would like to apply.
And Mr. Brown, I haven't specifically met you, but can you just introduce everyone to who you are here? So, you know, the great.
Yes, ma'am. And I apologize. I was so excited to share the good news about the school. So I just forgot to introduce myself. So yes, ma'am. My name is Paul Brown. I am the proud Associate Superintendent for the Thorough and Midtown Cluster. I am a product of Atlanta Public Schools. I went to Price High School way back in the 80s. This is my 29th year in education. I spent 18 years as a principal, the last 9 years as the principal of King Middle School. I've worked in 3 different districts, Atlanta Public School, because that's my home. I started my second year of teaching was in Atlanta Public School. My first year of teaching in Coweta County, I spent a large amount of my time in Fulton County, where I was an elementary school principal as well as a middle school principal. I am a middle school teacher at heart, so I do understand the dynamics of middle schoolers. I know that as 6th graders, I can remember as a 6th grade teacher, kids would come in with 20 pencils in their hand at 9 o'clock. At 9:30, they could not find one because they were all over the place. So I know that kids will, 8th, 7th grade, that is the year that kids are feeling themselves, what I call feeling themselves. They finally feel that they are teenagers, they're independent, but that's when they need the most guidance from parents. I know that at 8th grade, it's not until the second semester that kids settle down and they start getting more excited about going to the high school, and they're really true teenagers. I think that one of the things that we face right now is that our kids have not had that socialization for the past 14 months because most of them have been home. So we have 8th graders who are 8th graders by grade level, but they have not had socialization. They're still like pretty much 6th graders going to 7th grade. So we have that dynamics going on. And that requires the administrative team to do some things different to make sure those students are staying focused. So like I said, I'm a product of Atlanta Public School, all the way from kindergarten, all the way up. I went to the University of Georgia for my undergrad, master's at West Georgia, and I'm ABD, all but dissertation from Mercer University. So one day I will go back. But I am enjoying my experience of this new position that I have. I'm in loving what I'm doing. My nieces went to Springdale Park. I remember when it opened. And so I actually have my godson is a 12th grader. He also went to Springdale Park, went to Howard. He's a 12th grader now at Grady. So I'm very familiar with the community. But for me, it is all about service to children. And I really believe in putting children first. And one thing I will not ever budge on is not supporting all kids. So
Thank
that's
you.
pretty much me.
Thank you
I
so
don't know if
much.
that's all you
And
needed, but that's me.
a fun fact is I went to Price Middle School.
Oh yeah, you know.
Yes, so I'm familiar.
Okay.
I'm a product as
You know,
well.
when I tell people it was a high school, people don't believe me. And then
Right.
the next question is, how old are you?
Right. So thank you so much for that.
Okay. It's our time to turn it back over to you all. Unless there are questions.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Brown? Thank you. That was greatly appreciated, Mr. Brown. Let's move on to our announcements. Does anybody have announcements for us today?
You're still on mute, Ms. Anton.
Sorry. I think the only thing we have on announcements right now is the new Go Team member training and orientation. Just as a reminder that that should be coming. I guess Mr. Kobe can comment on that.
So, and for those that don't know me, I'm the school governance liaison. I think I know most of your team, and I think I was here for your first meeting back in August. But so you all should have received your Ellis login and notification of courses if you need to do those online courses. The ethics training is annual. And if you have any questions, email us, Mr. Abernathy. I got your email. I will be emailing you. We are going to be doing some of those live trainings for the new members in October. We have 5 sessions we're going to be doing, so please watch for emails to sign up for those. As a reminder for our new members, there are 2 parts to the new member orientation. One is that online portion that you can just do at your own pace, that self-paced one through Ellis. And the second part is that live interactive with the Go Team office training. So I think that about covers that. For the officers, we do have that in Ellis. And as soon as I can get my head above water, I'll be sending that out to all of our officers. So thank you very much. Oh, and one other thing, the strategic planning work session / training. And I think you guys did sign up for a session. So we will see you either Saturday, Monday, or Tuesday.
I believe we signed up for that on Tuesday. Is that correct, Ms. Anton?
That is correct.
Or I will make an announcement of the next Go Team meeting is October the 26th at 4:45. And then right after this, we will have our portion for public comment. Any other announcements before we move to public comment? All right, we always welcome and encourage our community to attend our meetings as well as provide us public comment. Each member will have 2 minutes to give a comment, but it is not up to the Go Team to respond to that comment. Once we reach to your allotted time of 2 minutes, I will politely cut you off at your 2 minutes so that we can move on to the next comment. So, Ms. Mosby, we'll let you go first, and I will start my timer when you begin to speak.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for letting me be here. It's so exciting to hear everything that's happening in the midst of transition. Y'all are doing such an incredible job. And so I'm really grateful to just hear how things are happening and still going well at Howard. I work with Young Life, and we are a global nonprofit that works a lot with high schoolers, but Wildlife is what we call our middle school sector of Young Life. And so with Wildlife, we're able to mentor adolescents from 6th to 8th grade. We're known for our camps, and we are a faith-based organization that really allow kids a safe space to explore faith and what that looks like, and we care for them regardless of their response. It has been really great to just connect with some Howard students last year because Young Life hosted what we called Young Life Classroom, and so we had kids bring their laptops and do their virtual learning in a safe space. We provided free breakfast and free lunch, and we were able to really just allow kids that socialization and opportunity to connect in a safe environment, which was great. And we took a few of those students to Wildlife Camp this past summer. And so our hope is this fall, we've been rebuilding our team of adult leaders who really just want to come into Howard and serve in whatever way we can, and hopefully be able to rebuild club, restart club in the spring at Howard. But we just want to be a resource for you guys this fall and whatever you need, and just get connected in that way. And so I've talked to Miss Poe. I was at student orientation. I helped with the laptops and passing out a few schedules for orientation, and that was great. And the leaders that we have been training, we actually fed them with Chipotle from Ponce yesterday so that we can stay connected and just continue to support Howard in any way possible. And so it was
all right, Ms. Mosby, thank you for your comment.
Yeah.
Ms. Hanley, I believe you're up next. Your 2 minutes will start when you begin to speak.
Great. My name is Honora Hantley, and I have 3 daughters in APS, 1 in Howard. I requested to speak today on specific areas for improvement, which the GO team can impact. The GO team's charter is to provide input and have a voice on the strategy for the school and the budget. I want to start with the budget request for 2022. Communication has long been a challenge, not just at Howard, but across APS. Students and families entering a new middle school environment should have much greater visibility and foresight into academics, summer school, sports, clubs, and other school and community activities. Currently, budget is not allocated for a full-time staff position to project manage communication, deadlines for publications, and execute on communication strategies, using inclusive, accurate language across multiple platforms. Having parent volunteers has been a Band-Aid. This should be a full-time position in the 2022 budget and prioritized going forward. This is a critical school function and needs an APS employee to manage this by grade level. My second area of focus is missing elements in the strategic plan. First, your strategic plan should include educating and supporting the whole child, including abandoning an abstinence-only curriculum. This is not mentioned at all and is obviously critical for today's students. Second, the SEL components don't have strong metrics, and there doesn't seem to be a strategy with middle school incidents, which appear to many parents to be unfortunately rising. The plan should include how Howard will take an active role to decrease these incidents, especially the troubling sexual ones. My ask is that you pursue comprehensive sex education and develop improved strategies on incident mitigation, avoidance, and communication. We all want Howard to be better, and the GO team can make these changes happen. Thank you for the time.
Thank you for your comment, Ms. Hanley.
Coach Abernathy, I just wanted to request that Ms. Hanley submit her comment in writing. If you're open to that, Honora, I think it'd be helpful for us to have your letter. So thank you very much.
That's a good idea. Any person, including Ms. Hanley, can also contact any of the GO team members. Our emails are listed on our website. So please, Ms. Hanley, send us that letter for us, please. Thank you. All right, we have reached the conclusion of our agenda. Are there any additional items at this time? Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
Coach Abernathy, I just wanted to just very quickly, because I know we're getting ready to adjourn, but I just wanted to make sure that I do announce that we are planning several principal coffees coming up, that we're going to try to do some things in person, but just want to make sure we go ahead and put that out there, and you'll have some information coming soon.
Okay, any other announcements from anyone before we adjourn? All right, let me get a motion to adjourn, please.
I motion to adjourn the meeting. Janine Walker.
Ms. Walker has made a motion. Do I have a second?
Archer Reese, I second.
Ms. Reese has second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you, everyone. That was a great meeting. Look forward to seeing everyone in October.